Hey guys, so as I mentioned in my last video, and as you can see from the title, this is another book related video, and it is the Do I Have That Book Challenge part 2. I did the original one about a year or year and a half ago, and I will link that below, and I'll also put the link to the channel, to the video of the creator of this tag. But yeah, like last time, it's just a list of questions, and I just have to see if I have a book that matches the question. I will be honest, I have actually looked at the questions ahead of time just to get a rough idea of what books I could use. So yeah, as you can see, I don't have bookshelves like last time. I still don't have bookshelves, but I do have a bunch of boxes behind me with all majority of my books. I do still have some on my bookshelf behind the camera, and I also have a couple on the floor that just don't fit in the boxes. So yeah, let's get started. So first question is, do you have a book with a fox on the cover or that is part of the plot? And I do. It's up on my shelf. Grab it. And the obvious answer to this is what was it? The Boy, the Mole, the Fox and the Horse. So yeah, as you can see, nice little fox play, and from the title, he's a main character. So yeah, that's my answer to that one. So the next question is, do you have a book that was published the year you were born? The answer to this is yes. I have a book by John Mansell called Fast Friends that was originally published in 1991, which is when I was born, but the copy I have is a more recent publication. But yeah, I do have it. I would show you, I might just put a picture up here, but it's in a box that has a lot of stuff on top of it at the moment, so I can't actually get access to it. But yeah, I do definitely have that one. Question 3, do you have a book with music as a weapon or magic? Definitely have books that have music in them, but like I said, I've read these questions before, so I have had time to think about it. And the one that actually came to mind, I don't know where it is, by the way, like last time, I don't have any order to my books, they're kind of random. But the one that came to mind is The Magic Strings of Frankie Presto by Mitch Albom. So yeah, Frankie Presto is a musician, and his guitar has these magical strings on them. So every time he affects somebody's life, the strings actually change colour. So yeah, that counts, right? So question 4 is, do you have a series with mismatch covers? I do. I don't read many series, but I do have one that is technically a series, and it does have mismatched covers, which is the Comfort Cafe series by David Johnson. And give me a sec and I will show you show you what I mean. So yeah, they're not published all in like bulk, they're like one a year roughly. So they started off, they were kind of like food themed because it's around a cafe, so this one is an ice cream sundae, but then later on it's more images of the cafe itself and the characters that might be mentioned in it. So yeah, kind of definitely mismatched. And yeah, I don't know what else I can say about that. Next question is, do you have a book with a shapeshifter? I do, but I can't remember which book it is. So it's one of my Neil Gaiman's. There's a character called Shadow who features in a couple of them. There's the American God series. I know it's in the short story box. My Neil Gaiman's were there, I can see them, but I can't remember if it's Trigger Warning or, I don't think it's Smoke and Mirrors, but I think it's either Trigger Warning or Fragile Things. It could be Smoke and Mirrors as well. It's one of those three where Shadow's mentioned in all of them, but there is one where he does shapeshift. So yeah, I'm going to go with Neil Gaiman, just as a generalised answer to that. Question 6 is, do you have a book signed by the author? I do actually have a couple of books. Some I bought intentionally because they're signed, one of which is on my bookshelf, but I'm not going to get that one. I also have some that I've won in prize giving in competitions, but they're duplicates of books which are in these boxes, so they're elsewhere. But I do have 2 that I actually stumbled across that were signed. So I bought them not knowing they were signed, so I'll grab them and I'll tell a bit more. So yeah, I've got the 2 books here by different authors, and both these books, ironically, I bought completely separate in Waterstones in Piccadilly, and when I went to read them, or got them home at least, I discovered that they were signed. So This one is Sun in the Eyes by Paige Toon, and as you can see is signed. And then Are We Nearly There Yet by Lucy Vine, which also signed. So yeah, didn't know they were signed, haven't gone to get them signed, they just happened to buy them and by chance they've been signed. I do know a lot of authors do that, especially around London stores, where they'll go in and randomly sign their books. Not in that sense, but they'll find a book, sign it and put it back without telling anybody. So yeah, those were pleasant surprises when I discovered they were signed. So next question is, do you have a book with a mostly read cover? I've already shown you one, but I'm trying to do different books for each answer. By the way, ignore my cat, but I can't do anything about her, so apologies. Yes, one I have that's mostly read is, where's it gone? It's one I read recently. I'm gonna go with, would you say that's red? I'd say it's red. It's kind of more of like a brick colour, but The Underground Railroad by Colson Whitehead. Yeah, enjoyed that book. I've read it. It's more of a recent read for me. But yeah, that's the first one that comes to mind. I've also got The Radleys by Matt and Haig, which is mostly read. So yeah, but I'll pick this one for now. Question 8 is, do you have a book that is 287 to 306 pages? I do. It's in one of my recent reads, but as to which book it is another question. So bear with me while I have a look. There we go. That took me a little longer than I thought. I had a few more, but yeah, the one I'm going to go with is Misogynation by Laura Bates, and it is, not including acknowledgements, 297 pages. I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, 297 pages, so that fits. And once again, another one that's mostly read. Question 9. Do you have a book where the main character wears glasses? This one I struggled with because I don't think I do. I know I have a lot of books where someone might wear glasses, but they don't necessarily say they wear glasses. So for example, like Harry Potter is the obvious answer, but I don't have it in these boxes anyway. I'm tempted to go for one with a grandmother or grandfather kind of in, because they usually do. But, ooh, I know which one. Actually, I've just seen it. I'm going to go with a classic, which is Lord of the Flies, because Piggy wears glasses. So yeah, there's one where the main character wears glasses. Question 10. Do you have a book with a title that has the same number of letters in your as your first name? I'm not even going to look, because there's no way there's a book that's just 4 letters long. Actually, there is, but I don't own it. The only other book, you know, my name's Emma. There's a book called Emma, but I don't own it. So yeah, I'm going to go straight up no for that one. Question 11. Do you have a book with cybercrime or technology as a plot point? This one was difficult. I'm going to go with, I do have one that's kind of technology, which I think is over here. So I'll be back in a sec. I'm going to grab it and I'll tell you about it. So yeah, I'm back now. I've actually picked up 2 books because as I was looking for this one, I found another one that I think might fit. So the book I've gone for is Kingdom by Jess Rothenberg, and this centres around an android that has been accused of murder, so that counts as technology. And the other one which I grabbed was The Psychology of Time Travel by Kate. I'm not even going to say that because I will butcher her surname, but yeah, it might be back to front, but yeah. And this title centres all around time travel and the machines they use to tie in with it. So how it works is the agency can actually jump back in time to solve crimes and that, and can interact with like previous versions of themselves. But yeah, that definitely fits technology, but I think it's a very loose fit. And same for the Kingdom, I think that's kind of a loose fit as well. Question 12. Do you have a book that was written in another language or translated to English? Now, there was a book that came to mind straight away for this one, but seeing what, like I said, I want to try and use my books just once, and the book that instantly came to mind for this, I want to actually use for the next question. So I had a look, researched my book, and remember that there was one that was possibly translated, so I'm going to go with that one. So the book I'm going with is The Librarian of Auschwitz by Antonio Turbe, and this was originally written in Spanish, so this is going to be my translated book. Sorry, I'm getting distracted, I can see my cat wandering off. But yeah, this was originally written in Spanish from what I can tell, and has now been translated to English. So yeah, this will be my translate book. Question 13 is, do you have a book by an Asian author? And now I can use the one I wanted to use for the last questions. So I do have a book. It's by a Japanese author, and I'm going to butcher the name, I know I am, but I will give it a try. So Toshikazu Kawachuchi. Like I said, I completely butchered that and I do apologise. But yeah, this is written by a Japanese author, and once again is translated because it was originally written in Japanese. Question 14 is, do you have a book with a moon on the cover? I do. I actually have a couple of books with a moon on the cover. If they're not the moon, they're the sun, but I think they're the moon. And the one I can actually spot, so I'll go with that one, is The Waiting Game by Jessica Thompson. I think I read this last year or the year before, but yeah, that's got a moon on both front and the back. Question 15, do you have an illustrated children's book? I do have children's books, but they're mostly downstairs because they're for my nephew, but I do actually have one behind the camera, so I'll grab that one. So this book I did buy for my nephew. He's a bit too young for it at the moment. He's only 1, and this is probably aimed for a bit older. But it's a World Book Day book, and there's a wolf in your book. There's an entire series of this by Tom Fletcher, and this was just one he did for World Book Day. But yeah, that's my illustrated children's book. Like I said, I do have more, but they're all downstairs in with my nephew's things. Question 16. Do you have a collection of fairy tales or myths? I do. Fairy tales not so much, but I do have, as soon as it says myths, I know. And that would be my Stephen Fry books, wherever they are. So that would be my Stephen Fry books, which are all Greek mythology, so heroes and mythos. So yeah, they're all about like Greek myths. So yeah, I have 2 books for that one. Question 17, do you have a sci-fi or fantasy when the lines between races? A lot of the books, like fantasy and sci-fi as I have, it's not necessarily, they're all human race. There's only one I actually have that's mixed race, and there's not really much of an alliance in it, but I'll go for it anyway. And that is Dead Man in a Ditch. This is the second book in the, was it Fletch Phillips archives by Luke Arnold. And yeah, so Fletch is a human man for hire, and he lives in a world where magic has disappeared. So you still have the magical beings in regards to like witches, wizards, elves, vampires, you know, and the like, but because magic has gone, they've lost all their magical ability. So he's a man for hire in that world, and in this book in particular, he works with a couple of people, a couple of lichens. So one is a reptilian lichen, so part human, part reptile. Another one's a cat lichen, and there's a brief one where he works with an elf. But yeah, a couple of alliances in that one, and it's the only one I can vaguely think of that might fit. Question 18, do you have a book with a narrow front cover? I have 2. One is, where's it gone? That. There's one, it's doesn't look like it to here, but it's actually got 2. That yellow one is slightly shorter, and it's The Keeper of Lost Things by Ruth Hodgins, which I just realised I actually have on my to buy list for next time I go to Waterstone, so I need to take that off. But yeah, that one has a slightly shorter front cover. The other one I've got is The Invisible Woman by Caroline Cardillo Perez, and this is a non-fiction book all about how the world wasn't designed for women. But yeah, once again, as you can see, slightly shorter front page for there. Question 19, do you have a book that includes the first chapter of a sequel? I don't know. I definitely have, I'm going to go know for this one. I probably do, but a lot of the books I have they do have the first chapters in, but it's namely the first chapter for another book by the author, it's not necessarily for a sequel. Because like I said, I don't read that many series books, so I'm going no for that one, even though I probably do. And final question, do you have a book with a broken spine? I definitely have a book that's falling apart, and I do not know where it is. I know it's in here somewhere, because a lot of my books do end up with broken spines, especially the thicker ones, because you end up having to break them just to read the pages. But I'm gonna go with, doesn't really show up well, but the fact that the pages are on the verge of falling out, I think you can see a bit better there. Pages are actually falling out, so you can't really see it there, but pages are starting to come out, so I'm going to class this as a broken spine. There's definitely a cracked spine, so yeah, this will be my one for that. So that's The Binding by Bridget Collins, and to be honest, I don't think it necessarily snapped. It was a case that the glue melted. As you can see, pages are falling out, so I might get another copy with that, get rid of this one and get a newer copy, just so it's not so falling apart, because it doesn't, I'm always thinking that the page is going to fall out, so I might actually end up going and buying another copy of this book. But yeah, that'll be my one for that one. So I'm going to be quick because my camera's just flashing. So yeah, that's the end of my Do I Have a Book challenge. I think actually better this time than I did in the first one. I'm also speaking really quickly because my camera just started flashing. So I'm going to go, and I will see you guys again soon.